NRG. Like, it didn't really look like the team that we're familiar with watching. But hey, like we said, possibly could be a new opportunity for them when it comes down to Exhibit. Excited to see exactly how this map plays out. Feel free, guys, let us know on social media at UMG Gaming, at Ryan Fools, at Lando. Let us know in the chat as well your thoughts on this game number 2. Are you rooting on the LATAM boys to walk away with a 2-0 versus NRG? Or will we, in fact, see that game 3 on training grounds? It's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be a blast. But like we said, at least in my kind of depiction of this, I think we need to see NRG come out early and instantly start to show some dominance. Because if not, that's just going to keep the train rolling here for Estral, as it looks as if A, B currently in limbo. Praised, walking with a big fight on Adverse and wants to continue the aggression as well.
Yeah, he has some help coming in from Explosive as well. Crack, kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's going to end up dropping. Looks like the kind of initial starting to favor NRG. Keep in mind, you see they are the Swarm team. This is their map pick, so of course, kind of a good way to shake off their map pick, get the win back onto yours. You see they're about to take the time lead back as well. They're kind of just trying to identify where this push from Estral is going to come in, which lane are they going to choose to push it. Looks like Reflame kind of stuck off by himself there, kind of quickly get out of dodge there. Meanwhile, on the other end, you kind of see Adverse in the second lane. Ooh, Crack just kind of runs right in there, meets the big old shotgun of Praise. Of course, advantage still in NRG's hands. They're continuing to just kind of wait and see where Estral makes their push.
They've done the job they needed to. Reflame. Like I said, this continued aggression from Estral not slowing down as they want to keep making NRG be put on their toes. Nice pistol shots from afar. That's going to weak Praise, at least for the moment. Still trading shots, and Estral's waiting for their opportunity. Look in that top right, the mini-map. Here comes the flash. Multiple point of views to look at. I believe that is going to be Cardia, who does take down Explosive, but the knife. Lovely work coming through from Praise, doing his own Zoro impression. Now has to worry about Crack and takes him down as well. And does not stop Praise. A lovely little triple for the folks at home. And speaking of triples, that will nearly be a triple cap. Most players falling, and there we have it. NRG, for the first time in this semifinal, get a round on the board.
Yeah, and Praise did such a good job towards that middle side of the map, right down to that B hill, just no matter which lane he was in, whether he was in the hill, outside the hill, just kind of commanded that entire area of the map. Good job by NRG kind of striking first. Again, this is their map pick.
Yeah.
We could very well see NRG answer back with a 5-0 of their own, right? You know what kind of team this is. So if you're Estral, so they're going to kind of just manage to hit the little mirror button. Both going to place that utility on the side, so you're going to see a lot of the same from this round. Still pretty long spawns. Let's go ahead and see what adjustments they decide to make on this initial. It all starts to stop at this man.
Yeah, it definitely does. Right, slow down the guy who has the most kills so far throughout the first round. I believe it was 7. And nearly making it 8 as they'll at least get the drop onto Reflame.
Oh my goodness.
What a play from Praised. Comes through with the blitz and just says, boys, watch my back. That's all that needs to be done. A one-man wrecking crew as Estral have no response for Praised.
He continued to move forward, too, hitting good shots.
He
Chasing
ran
them all the way back into the spawn.
Woo.
Reflame has a little bit of spawn shield there, I think. You're going to see Estral trying their best to fight to get this C hill back. First couple kills do come in. NRG, now you kind of want to give this up. I don't think that you want to necessarily fight for this hill. You want to give up entire map until you're going to see summons beginning to back off. He's still in their sights, though. Reflame tries it in with the wrap shot. Summons is there waiting. Good patience coming in from Summons. He still has 2 more members of Estral. I think he knows that the B hill is probably going to be uncapped for now. NRG, though, in the meantime, have still managed to build about a 60-point lead early on. So they have plenty of time to work with for a counter push.
And that's one thing you have to kind of be aware of for Estral. Obviously, a fantastic game number 1. We talked about aggression. Their team pushing was something that you mentioned NRG has to be aware of as Cardia just comes through
whole
and
kill feed is
wipes off everybody. And that kind of ruins my point, but I was going to say, Estral at times, at least so far throughout the first round and a half, showing maybe a little bit of their overly aggressiveness. I will say, obviously, it has its advantages and disadvantages, and that kill feed moment, obviously a positive, but still, there have been about 2 or 3 different moments where you think, hey, maybe they should have held off a little bit, maybe should have waited. But regardless, you love to see that aggression more than anything. So many rosters have struggled versus this NRG team just because of kind of getting that stage fright and not really knowing how to play against this team. But there we have it. A few players falling in that kill feed, at least a few to be dropped. Adverse trying to pick up the pieces. You see getting shot from all kinds of different point of views. Can he escape? Absolutely full red. One more bullet as he'll fall around the corner. Thankfully gets the revive off, but you notice NRG, they are pushing these boys back.
Yeah, they maintain that lead as well. They hop on that B hill right before Estral took that lead. Saw Praise get over there and kind of steal the utility from the Estral side. So a little extra utility will be at play for NRG as well. They're continuing to kind of light up the kill feed. You're seeing Summons, Mental, Adver's trying to dance around the hill. He's getting shot from every which way. He's going to drop. That's going to be 4 dead. Fiercely, the last remaining member. He's dropped as well. Full Elim comes in. Well played round by NRG, and now they're starting to cruise to the second map.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And that's what you want to see, especially if you are a supporter of this team. And that was kind of the big factor throughout a lot of that last round. So many players, so many different lines of fire. It was so difficult for them to kind of make their way out of different point of views, try to make their way to escape. They were always met with shots, and it always helps, especially when Praised starts off the way that he did. Like we said, pretty much looked like a running back, just sprinting through everybody.
Yeah, he was on fire.
We'll see if he can keep it up, too, because that is a very scary sight when you see that man Praised running straight for your dome.
Yeah, if he's confident, he's having fun, he's laughing, he's hitting shots. Again, he's a very, very accurate player, prides himself on hitting those full spreads, right, hitting those absolute bricks. If he's on point, it's a scary sight, especially sort of in that middle side of the map, right, where you can command so many things at once with that cover, kind of rotate around there, be annoying. Definitely someone you want to neutralize if you are Estral.
He is demanding your respect, demanding your praise. We'll see if he can keep it up yet again. Early 1v1 engagement. It actually does get taken down. Love this early 2v2 that we're witnessing as Mental not able to pick up his fallen comrade. So we talk about situations Estral maybe needs to improve upon. One of those, just trying to deal with praise. Well, at least in the early initial, they've done exactly that. Really fight through the hallways, but this time around, it's Estral who seems to be successful.
They're starting to build a lead of their own now. A map like Exhibit 2, I mean, just the way that kind of the lanes are situated. If you start to get some numbers now, you can kind of rotate around these different lanes, hit them from the back, hit them from the front, get that team fire in towards middles. You're going to see Explosive making his way into that B hill. Teammate Mental keeping Reflame busy. Explosive didn't get that full break. Seemed kind of still dancing around. Now Reflame trying to help his teammates. He's being surrounded by 3 members of NRG. Summons, Praise, lighting up the kill feed. Mental looking to add one of his own. That's going to be 3 members quickly dropped for Estral. Cardia needs to make a play. Gets one. Needs to just stay alive. But again, you talk about how you can kind of bob and weave through these different lanes. Once you get those numbers, Explosive comes in the flank, gets the down. Advantage back in NRG's hands. About 30 seconds away from reclaiming that lead. Got a dominant map so far.
Oh. Bodies hitting the floor in just quick succession, and Summons is trying to catch every advantage that he can. Like I said, in the meantime, as Estral were involved in those fights, NRG quickly take back B. Well, hey, already flipped on its head again. In limbo is the B hill, as Estral will find that one themselves.
Yeah, take a look at the respawn economy real quick. You see Crack on his very last life. You see Reflame down to just 1 respawn. On the other side, you see NRG, everyone over at least 2. So respawn economy definitely favoring NRG Estral. Need to make sure if they're going to finish one of these rounds, they're going to do it quickly. They cannot afford to have someone like Crack, especially, who's been so influential for this team. Going out early, just at this top level, you cannot win with one of those, permanent 4v5 situations. Crack's being kind of careful. Gets 1, looking to get 2. He's going to be dropped. So now Estral, 4v5 for the rest of the round. Need to hold on. They have a good-sized lead. They can hold on for about 35 more seconds. Cardi gets 1. Trying to hold on. You're going to see NRG quickly making that move. You can see despite NRG having 2 hills, COG team will still win in 20 seconds. They need to hold down that last and final hill. If you're NRG, you're basically just trying to kind of get at least the break. Flashes come in. Here comes the push. Lancer fire. Is it going to be enough? NRG is starting to move forward. Again, a break would be huge. Kills start to come in. NRG gets the break at 2:49. They all 5 go down. It's going to be enough at the absolute buzzer. They do it.
Wow.
Estral needed to hold it down for 1 more second. But in the end, NRG does what they do best. They steal the round away from the jaws of life, extend their lead now to a 3-0. We can see back-to-back 5-0s right now.
We absolutely could. Wow, that was excellent play coming through from NRG. As you mentioned it, at the 2:49 mark was Estral. They just could not hold on for long enough, and that is just picture-perfect play and strategy coming through from the NRG boys. I'll be honest, kind of taking a look at that mini-map, it looked like they had a pretty decent setup, a lot of different layers, but NRG manages to break their way through, and they grab a very influential third round. Of course, their third straight, and their only 3 of this series. Keeping in mind, if you're just joining us, it was Estral who did in fact take game number 1 on Asylum 5-0. That's 5-0 for the Brits. That's a very solid scoreline, and one that we were pretty worried about with NRG. It's fair to say here on Exhibit, they're back in their home ground and fighting just to kind of keep their lives up. It looks as if Mental, unfortunately, has to head back to camp with one less squad mate. But in the meantime, that hill still yet to be grabbed. Estral, the first one to pretty much have their feet inside. And Mental, despite kind of losing his squad mate, still is on that contest.
There's an explosive once again, kind of getting that first down, sort of being the tip of the spear in that push. You mentioned earlier how good he is at slaying alongside being this team's in-game leader. Plays like that obviously helps so much. You're seeing Cardi kind of waiting for Mental. Mental knows exactly where he is. Now it's NRG with control of B. Summons taking out Crack. That's his last down. That's going to put Crack out of yet another round. So difficult to come back when you're down to respawn economy. If Reflame goes down too, it'll be even a permanent 3v5. If you look over the right side of your screen, NRG 3 respawns, 4, 2, 3, 2. They got plenty of respawn economy to work with. And now Estral stuck with 3 members for the rest of the round. They're going to start with trying to at least defend the C hill, but just when you're down by this many respawns, Landon, the more they just can keep spawning up and throwing them at you, spawning up, throwing at you, eventually just kind of grinds you down. And look at even just the time lead, right? They're not even getting, they're just not capping a hill again.
I think, and this is just a personal opinion, we could say this kind of progresses over time. For me, ever since we see the change up as NRG comes through and takes down another 2, but for me, I think that the third round of a game pretty much, or the third round, if a team is already 2-0 up, I think instantly becomes a swing round based off of life count. Because if you lose the first 2, obviously you're going to be lower in that life bank in comparison to your team, or rather to the opposition. But in the midst of that third round, you're kind of coming into things with so many different losses that, hey, you kind of have to bank on one particular team fight going your way, because if not, you instantly kind of get put into this blender or these multiple type of positions where you're just not fit enough to stay alive or to push things aggressively enough. It kind of just ruins your mentality. And so, at least for me, every time that we see a team go 2-0 up, unless we see a dramatic change from the opposition, it almost seems as if it's just going to happen to the point where you're going to see a guaranteed 3 or 4-0, just because the lives, it's as you called it, it's so difficult. They had 2 guys there at the end who just can't stay up. They're literally off the map.
Yeah, I mean, just especially the way obviously these initials work too on a map like Exhibit. There's just you can't not get in the fight, right? You have to get in the fight. So if you're one of those players in that fight with low respawns, and again with high level, you're going to be a lot of trades, a lot of back and forth. Again, you just get kind of grinded down by that respawn economy. And as we start the first round of the second half, it looks like NRG is kind of continuing on forward with what they've been doing all map long. Numbers advantage currently in their favor. Reflame forced to back off, getting from all angles. NRG on the aggression. They are not stopping. These are long spawns, right? They want to finish this round right here, right now. Looks like they're on the other end. Someone from Estral snuck over towards the NRG home hill. It's going to be, what, number 7? It's going to be Solar's there to fight for that hill. Fears are going to kind of back off, just accept the break. Kept the team in the map a little longer. Will it be enough? You're going to see Cardia hop over. He's being met by the Lancer of Praise. Obviously one of the most accurate Lancers we've ever seen. And at that shot, he gets flanked, but here come the trades. NRG doing a great job of trading out these downs. Explosive going to get dropped. Reflame's there. And Reflame gets 2. But now he's being met by 3. Can he do it again? He has some help. It's a good opportunity now for Estral. That's going to be 4 dead. Solar's the last alive. Now they get to move forward. They get to try to kind of finish this round on these long spawns by TripCap. They decide to back off. Rats take the score lead. Kind of going back and forth. Right team's kind of winning that side, counter pushing, winning that side, counter pushing. Now it's Estral holding the 2 cap.
You talk about in-game leadership. How about slang leadership right there? Lovely stuff coming through from Reflame. Is that maybe the spark that Estral needs just to maybe reinvigorate themselves? It's like we've talked about, this has been a very dominant game so far from NRG. They have pretty much had, what, one close round that came down to a 249, but despite it, it's been pretty much them all the way through. Estral currently with the advantage, but here comes NRG yet again. Take a look toward that top right. See those red arrows pretty much progressively starting to make their way in. As unfortunately, it will be Praised who does fall first, but they're going to be looking for a trade and a break here soon.
Yeah, trying to cross that 200-point mark. You do not want to give up a lead like this. Two of their members go down. NRG on the offensive late. Summon stuck between two members. Somehow isn't killed. Finally is going to drop. Now NRG kind of makes the decision, right? Do they want to move forward? Do they want to try and finish this here? Crack hasn't gotten back into the game just yet. Explosive tries to get on that hill. It's unfortunately down next to a bed of fire. Crazy at the trade. It's going to be all 5 down for NRG. Estral finally stops the bleeding. Stop us from getting back-to-back 5-0s, but man, they got their work cut out for them if they're going to try to take this map away from NRG.
But I think it kind of came down to Reflame's play for the most part. I think for a majority of it, it really was pretty much his presence that made the overall difference. He kind of comes through, takes down 3, and then from there, you see Estral, they hold on to that mid-hill, and then it was kind of NRG never really being able to kind of pick up the pieces. I will say that 1-2v1 got a little bit scary, maybe even if I think it was Explosive is able to toss out that Incendiary just a little bit early. Maybe that turns it into a 1v1. Maybe it's anybody's game. But even still yet, Estral had that slaying just enough to give them the overall weight advantage, to give them that peak when it came down to the scale. But here we go. They're going to need much more of that if they want to make this one even somewhat close, as NRG still sitting on map point, mind you, not series. Still have to visit that third one over on training grounds if NRG can at least find one more. Even still yet, Adver's the first one to try to break on through. He'll pretty much just try to get somewhat well acquainted with that mid-hill. Obviously a typical position for Explosive as he'll toss out the Incinerary. Unfortunately, he will drop. Along with that, Reflame takes down Explosive. That's going to be, what, 2-3 down. Already off the break for NRG. Maybe another one. As Summons, though, turns the tide back. That was a huge play coming in from him. And near domination as well. A lot of things happening in the early stages of this game. Pretty much point to bring up Estral. Hot start. Summons, though. Huge plays to keep things even.
He doesn't make that play. That round's probably over right there. You saw them kind of just get right over there and Summon. I think one of them had to reload, try to get the melee out, but Summons gets the big double kill, keeps his team alive, and that's what makes this NRG team so tough sometimes. They have those players that make those plays that continue to kind of keep them in each and every round. It's like Estral doing a pretty good job, though, of continuing to keep the numbers, right? They're starting to build a lead. As they kind of cross the 100-point mark, you see obviously they do win in about 65 seconds at this pace. And again, they just need to be smart. You can't allow a team like NRG to get those picks, right? The second they get that pick, the second they make a 5v4, they want to make it a 5v3. They want to make that a 4v2. They want to continue to kind of push those numbers. So as long as you keep them at bay, you'll be in a good spot. It looks like Estral's doing just that this round.
Ziv currently in limbo. NRG trying to push their way in. Praise trying to set up some sort of a pinch. Crack still alive. Not for long, though, as there goes two. Crack and Reflame. Cardia maybe getting a similar feat as Praise has to watch this one, but only for a time. The revive does manage to get off. Fiercely actually takes down Cardia in the meantime. And that is just a big blunder for Estral as they can't win that fight and nothing really going their way whatsoever, as that will give control back to NRG as they'll hold on to D&E now.
And we just talk about how you can't get picked, you can't give up numbers, you have to just kind of keep them at bay, and then boom, 4 dead. Right, just one of those things. Luckily for them, they built such a good lead so far. You see they still do win at this current pace, but it's going to be close. I'm pretty sure that basically at the point that Estral would hit 250, NRG would be somewhere in like the 240, 249 mark. So Estral has very little margin for error. We saw in a past round, right, the NRG got that last second break at the 249 mark. You do not want that to happen a second time, and it looks like that's the game they're choosing to play right now. They're looking to kind of put their eggs in that final basket. NRG just needs one single break unless someone can kind of make a hero sneak play. That final fight's going to be huge. You need to get a little bit aggressive too. You can't let the fight happen on the hill. You need to hold it for about 10 more seconds. The kills start to come in. I think we know how this one ends, Landon. Is it going to end the same way? The break comes in at 248. 5 dead. I've seen this play before.
I think
and that's going to end the map.
it will indeed. That was a fantastic way to close things out yet again for NRG. Pretty much two different situations of which they come through and close things out right before the buzzer. And, of course, praised MVP of this game finishes off with 30 eliminations. Pretty much from the start was the main man to look out for. Of course, he'll be filling out a decent amount of our highlights. But I love in that last moment, we're talking about the last round in particular, round number 6, and I think it was NRG who pretty much does a fantastic job at realizing, saying, hey, we're getting these guys that are starting to scramble. They're starting to run around a little bit, maybe maybe kind of get a little bit scared, if you will, because they're aware of what's going to happen. And even despite being in the disadvantageous position, make it look as if they're in the advantageous position by looking for the first pick, because I think it was someone who was on kind of top stairs, does damage to Reflame. Reflame then backs up. He's looked upon as the first guy to have to engage, and you just see the movement, it just wasn't there. The communication was probably a little bit fluky. And so despite NRG literally being the ones who are knocking on the door, it was the people who were inside who managed to open it for them. And so that's what I think was so influential there for NRG, is despite being in what was a awkward position, they play their advantages perfectly and managed to break through, in which they probably shouldn't, twice out of the 5 rounds that they win.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. Let's say that Estral closes out those 2 rounds at the 249
yeah.
mark. That makes them have a 3-3, right? Those things change a lot, but that's what this NRG team does, right? That's what they've done in Gears 4. So they do in Gears 5, right? They take away those rounds that they're not always supposed to lose, right? They take away rounds from the jaws of defeat. And now we saw a dominant map from Estral, map number 1, a dominant map from NRG in map number 2. Now we head to training grounds. Again, we've seen this Estral team just today take out Mazer on training grounds, right? We've seen this NRG team in the past beat the likes of Reciprocity on training grounds. Both of these teams definitely have good reps on this map.